Laziness in the Philippines is very common and widespread. Even if you distance yourself from individuals like this, are affected by it through a different means or indirect. Line 6 says, are you civil to family in-laws that are lazy or don't work? Oh, weird to me. Man, woman, and working age who is in him and family would not work. Can't help but feel it brings the family down a bit. All should be working as its life is tough, especially with the poverty in the Philippines. Would help. I wouldn't call anyone out. I guess my plan is kind of avoid them as much as possible. Anyone, Teddy says, a friend of my girlfriend. He would tell me once she moved in, suddenly family did, and able-bodied men sat around all day on their phones, lol. He got real pissy when I told him because he taught. There's a great point at the end. Everything that happens in the Philippines in a relationship because you somehow enabled it. Allow it. When I say everything, I mean things that are in your control, like this one particularly. If your in-laws are coming around and not contributing, if it's bothering you, tell your partner, tell your wife, your fiance, or your girlfriend. Since we know this is very common, once they know you are a foreigner, everybody starts coming out of the woodworks. Like roaches at night, they want what you have. Every chance they get, they want to mooch off of you. Even if they don't ask you for money directly, they'll sit around all day in your air-conditioned home, watch your paid-for television or YouTube, and eat the food that you bought for your family in the refrigerator. And if you say something, suddenly you are the bad guy. Ken says, honestly, that's on them if they don't want to work. But if they start asking for X amount of money from me and saying they will pay me back, then I have no problem calling them on their bullshit. If they pull the quote, but you're from a first world country and I'm poor, thus I'm entitled to beg you, end quote, then tell them in Tagalog that they are an adult and perfectly able to make their own money, either selling fish balls, driving a jeepney, or making a sorry store. Yes, this sounds good on paper, but as we all know, there are many simps in the Philippines who will never say a single word and just sit there and take it all in. Sad comment says, civil to everyone except the woman who tried to get me to sponsor directly or indirectly her lazy family members. That's overbearing. Indirectly, meaning all your money goes to her family and not the house bills. Precisely. This is it, because most men are too happy to be in any relationship with any woman 20 years younger than themselves. So they will put up with all types of nonsense, even when it comes to finances for your own home. You allow it to happen. You do not put your foot down. Therefore, you are enabling this type of behavior. It does not matter how much you care about her, she should have respect for you and for your wallet. This is why I'm extremely sympathetic, says Sin Anna Miss Lee, because even the average person with a reliable salary is pressed. These people will have some kind of education while their family members have little. So yes, it's hard. If they struggle to find a job, then they have my sympathy. It just happens that I am very selective about donations and charity also. This is just another way of telling us that you are a pushover. No one is saying that it's not difficult finding a job, but it's not impossible. Many Filipino people do work. We are talking about the ones that don't work, sit around all day, and expect you to take care of their bills. At least in Metro Manila, says Armin, you can get a job that pays 15,000 to 20,000 instant if you have a senior high school and are below 40 years old or so. Have seen it with my ex-girlfriend and neighbors all the time. At every workplace of my ex, they had a shortage of workers. It's just tough. At least 40 hours hard work and difference in living standard compared to parasitic family members isn't that big deal. I know at least 3 cases that resigned in the past 10 days in my neighborhood because of bad work environments. One call center agent was angry for getting work he is not trained for and stressed them out. So he resigned. He is smart and will find something new within 1 to 2 months. Two others resigned because the coffee shop owner was strict and demanding, so they figured out moving back to mommy in the province is better situation. The salary was good. I offered them help to find something overseas. They'd registered somewhere but were lazy to fill out the forms and did instead 24/7 TikTok from Facebook. Zero frustration tolerance. So you knowingly help them out when you know they'll just simply do TikTok and not follow through and gave up the first chance they had at work since something was too difficult. This is the mentality of the Filipino. They want everything handed to them. Pulverizer says, true, there are so many lazy ass guys I know that had overseas jobs making at least $1,500 a month. You do the math, how much that is locally. However, for some inexcusable reason, he decided to just rely on his wife's income and sidekick. His other brother is the same. Both their wives work in BPO. Would I say they are lazy? Sure they are, still in their 30s. Another guy about my age, he relies on his wife's income, which is running a small sorry store. He thinks he is a son of a rich father, and so is their teenage son, who is probably 23. These are the lazy men that rely on their wives for income. Then we have the go-getters that look daily. Some even look for employment nonstop for 1 year and find no work. But it's just so difficult with the lack of jobs. There are more applicants than available jobs. The next time you got time, see if you can witness a hiring event. You'll often see at least hundreds of applicants for just 2 or 3 positions. Finally, review job requirements. They often require a college degree for a typical bank teller or even a cashier position. Yeah, it's not hard. Oftentimes, the ones that get selected are personally referred directly internally by someone inside. I do agree there are lazy men, but there are also many that want to work, but they don't work, clearly. And when you say these men rely on OFWs and their wives, the entire country rely on the women. That is why they send them to other countries, pimp them out to get the remittances coming back into the country. OFWs are single-handedly saving the economy, if you were to ask me. After that are all the illegal immigrants, mostly Chinese, come here on tourist visas and start buying properties and investing in condominiums, making the general public assume that they are worth what the Chinese are paying for. It's not worth that. They are simply laundering the money. And if you are telling me that those offshore gaming have gone out of the country, you are mistaken. They've simply relabeled them, recategorized them, repackaged them, and made them legal online gaming, especially video games to Filipino teenagers, since they have no knowledge of what is right and wrong. Thanks for watching. God bless.